Hello everybody. This is the second lecture in English. Today we are going to start with a new theme. You already watched the video that I posted in the lecture before about poverty. During the Zoom session we discussed what is poverty. We talked about poverty in general. Today we are going to start with the first reading lesson, which is famine causes and effects. The first thing that we have to explain is the meaning of the word famine. The word famine means starvation or hunger. So we are going to talk about the causes and effects of hunger, why some people are suffering from hunger, and what are the effects of hunger. During this session, we are also going to discuss two comprehension skills. The first one is already discussed in the previous Zoom session, which is author's purpose, and the second one is cause-effect relationship. First of all, we are going to talk about causes and effects. We are going to start with the definition of a cause. So as you all know, a cause is what makes something happen, or the reason behind something. To find the cause, you need to ask yourself always what happened first, because the cause always happens before the effect. Okay, the effect is a result of a cause. The second thing we are going to talk about is the effect, and the effect is the result, or what happened next. Okay, what happened second. So the cause always comes at the beginning and the effect happens next. I'm not saying at the beginning, which means in the sentence the cause is written before the effect. No, I'm talking about the let's say the action. The action of the cause happens before the action of the effect. Let's look at the example that we have here. The boy was grounded because he wasn't on green at school. So we are going to ask ourselves first, what happened first? What happened first is that the boy wasn't on green at school. So this is the cause. This cause led to something, which is the boy was grounded. So let's say, for example, that let's say Maya didn't do her homework. Okay, Maya didn't do her homework, so she was punished. What happened first? Maya didn't do the homework. This was the first action. And what happened next, or second, is that she was punished. Okay, so this is that we're going to talk about. That's why she was punished, because she didn't do her homework. Now, as you can see here in this sentence, we have the word because, and the word because here is the transition. It is a transitional word that shows that there is a cause-effect relationship. Now we are going to talk about some transitional words that show causes and others that show effects. Some of the transitional words that show causes are like because, due to, one cause is, another cause is, since, for, first, and second. First and second are used to tell two causes or more, two effects, two causes or more. Yes. Now for effects, we are going to also read some of the transitions. When you see the word consequently, as a result, thus, resulted in, one result is, another is, therefore, and so, it means you have a statement of an effect here, you have an effect here. That's why we are using these words. Now we are going to move to the list of vocabulary words that we are going to cover in this lesson. First of all, I am going to start with the word famine, which I already explained in the title. The word famine is a noun, and it means an extreme lack of food in a region causing suffering and death. So famine is lack of food, hunger, starvation in a certain region, in a certain place, which causes suffering and sometimes death. Now we are going to move to the second word, overpopulation. Overpopulation is an adjective. If you look at the prefix here, which is over, over means a lot, many. Overpopulation, many population, a lot of population means the fact of a country or city having too many people. It means this city is, let's say, crowded. It has a high number of citizens, high number of people, so it's overpopulated. The third word is scarcity, and it's a noun. Scarcity is a situation in which something is not easy to find or get. It's a situation when something is not available at any time, is not usually available, it is not easy to get. Number four is shortage. Shortage is also a noun. Shortage is the situation in which there is not enough of something. It means we have, let's say, food shortage, not enough food, copybooks shortage, not enough copybooks, for example, for the class. There are not enough for this class or for this, let's say, group of students, and so on. So shortage means when the situation in which there is not enough of something, something which is not enough. Number five, we're moving to the word symptoms, and it's also a noun. A symptom is any feeling of illness or physical or mental change that is caused by a particular disease. For example, let's say that the symptoms of a flu are coughing, sneezing, and a running nose. So these are symptoms, okay? Symptoms are, let's say, the changes that happen due to a certain disease. Number six, efficiently. Efficiently is an adverb. It means working in an organized, quick, and effective way. If I said, for example, let's say Sally does her assignments efficiently, it means she does them in an organized, quick, and effective way. Number seven, severe. Severe is an adjective, means causing very great pain, difficulty, worry, or damage. We can use severe in order to, let's say, talk about a certain disease. He has a severe disease. He has severe pain. Let's say that, for example, earthquakes lead to severe damages. Okay, so severe means great pain or damage or difficulty. Number eight is strive. Strive is a verb. It means to try very hard to do something, to suffer in order to get something, to suffer in order to have what you want. So let's say he strived, let's say, to save his brother. He tried very hard to save his brother, for example. Number nine is corruption, and it's also a noun. Corruption means something which is illegal, something which is bad, something which is dishonest, a behavior which is a bad behavior. Okay, as for example, the corruption that happens in certain governments, for example, a corruption that happens in a certain place, which is bad and sometimes illegal. Now we are going to move to our reading lesson. As you can see, the title is Famine, Causes and Effects. From the title, you can infer that the text is, or the text tells us about causes and effects of famine or of hunger. Read the following selection in which the writer sheds light on the problem of hunger and its causes. When you are through with the reading, answer the questions that follow. I'm going to read some parts of the selection, not all the selection. You are going to read it. You are going to read it when you see the selection, the lecture. in the lecture folder on the drive. So I'm going to start. The world does not have enough food. At least 2/3 of the people on this planet always worry about how to get enough of anything to eat. This is because of food shortages and natural disasters, overpopulation and scarcity of natural resources. These in general are the main causes of famine, the monster which kills millions of people every year. So here in this paragraph, the writer tells about the reasons of famine, the causes. Okay, he is mentioning some of the causes that are leading to famine. Let's read paragraph 3. Since the distribution of the basic foodstuffs is carried out and controlled by the wealthier countries, by the rich countries, the distribution of food is controlled by rich countries in the West. So less fortunate countries, the countries which have less fortune, are not getting enough amount of food. So this food is not distributed efficiently. It is not distributed equally between people. That's why it is leading to famine. In 1973, drought killed 100,000 people in Ethiopia. A year later, floods covered nearly half of Bangladesh, destroying stored grain and growing crops. So as you can see, here are some examples about the natural disasters that are leading also to the deaths of some people, of many people, and to the destroying of grains and crops, which are a big part of their food. Let's now move to paragraph 4. On the other hand, while food sources are decreasing due to floods, droughts, and other natural disasters, the number of people is increasing due to overpopulation. So in this paragraph, the writer discusses the problem of overpopulation. The writer mentioned in paragraph 1 that overpopulation is one main reason of famine. So because there is an overpopulation in certain regions or countries, the amount of food is not enough to all this amount of people. That's why they are suffering, because food is not enough to all of this population. Since only 7% of the Earth's surface is cultivated, some people would think it would be easy to increase the food producing areas. Unfortunately, the area of arable land on Earth is not sufficient to feed and clothe all people in the world. So the planted areas in the world are not enough. Okay, so people should find new ways in order to save food, in order to find food. In order to expand food producing areas of the world, the wealthy countries should help and cooperate with poorer countries to increase their food productivity. So these rich countries, wealthy countries, should help the poor countries in order to increase the food productivity, increase the production of food. This means better crops, the building of water dams, and the introduction of modern agricultural techniques to illiterate and poor farmers. So to illustrate poor farmers, to learn these farmers how to benefit from the lands they have in order to improve or increase their food productivity. Now we are going to move to the worksheet or the questions related to the text. I'm going to start with the first question, which is based on paragraph 2. Name 2 major reasons for famine. As you can see, in paragraph 2, the writer mentioned 2 main reasons. He talked about natural disasters, he talked about overpopulation, he mentioned many reasons, but we have to mention 2 here. He talked about natural disasters, about overpopulation, about let's say about the productivity of food. He talked about other reasons also. So you have to mention only 2 reasons. We already mentioned them. With reference to paragraph 3, tell if food aid from rich countries solve the problem of hunger, why or why not. So if you are with, tell me why. If you are against, you also have to mention why. If we refer to paragraph 3, we can see that the food aid from rich countries doesn't solve the problem, because as we said, the food aid or the food is controlled by these wealthy countries, by these countries. That's why these countries are not distributing the food efficiently, as we said. So the food aid doesn't solve the problem because it is not distributed efficiently. If we move to the third question, refer to paragraph 4 of the reading text and tell how people can avoid death because of hunger. If we refer to paragraph 4, we can see that in paragraph 4, the writer mentions something very important, which is increasing the food productivity. It means we have to benefit from the lands that we have in order to plant as much as we can, in order to benefit from these lands. So when planting these lands, we will increase our food productivity, so we may avoid death because of hunger. Another way in order to avoid the death because of hunger is to uh, decrease, let's say, the population, not just having babies for just a high number of babies. This also leads to hunger, as we said. So there are lots of measures that could be taken in order to avoid that. Another measure that could be taken is also distributing the food efficiently, and one other measure is that wealthier countries must help the poorer countries in order to benefit from their lands and plant. If we move to the fourth question, identify the author's purpose. The text is an expository text, as you can see from the title. Whenever you read the title, you will know what the text is about. The text is an informational text. It is an expository text, a cause-effect text. That's why the author's purpose here is to inform, because whenever we have an expository text, it means we are going to the author's purpose here is going to be to inform, because in an expository text the author states information, gives us information and facts, and as well as numbers, real events, real incidents that really happened in Bangladesh and Ethiopia, which he mentioned about the flood and about the drought, numbers of people who are suffering, the lands which are planted, and so on. So the author's purpose here is to inform, because he is informing us about the causes and effects of famine. Let's now move to exercise B. The following statements are false. We have to correct them. We have to state which are false and which are true, and we have to correct the false ones. Here I made it easier for you. I asked you to refer to paragraphs 2, 3, and 5 in order to correct them. Most countries of the West suffer from scarcity of natural disasters. This is false, of course, because in the text, in paragraph 2, it's mentioned that most countries of the East suffer from scarcity, not of the West. Number 2, tundra areas are not good for farming, which is true, because in paragraph 3 the writer mentioned that tundra areas are not good for farming, they are not suitable. Number 3, war caused food shortage in sub-Saharan Africa, which is false. It's not war that caused this, it's natural disasters from floods, droughts, and so on. These caused food shortage due to the destroying of the grains and so on. So it's not war, it's the natural disasters. Here are the answers of the questions. I answered the questions orally, but here, as you can see, the answers of each of the questions that were above. Um, I just want to explain something. In a comprehension question, when the writer starts his question with based on paragraph or refer to paragraph 3, for example, you have to mention this in your answer, and you have to start your answer with based on paragraph 2, based on paragraph 3, referring to paragraph 6, for example. So, based on paragraph 2, droughts, heavy rain, he asked us to mention 2 reasons, but I mentioned more. Drought, heavy rain and flooding, extremely cold weather, plant diseases, pests, and poor agricultural technology, all of these lead to food shortages and poverty. Number 2, based on paragraph 3, food aid doesn't solve the problem of famine since the distribution of the basic foodstuffs is carried out and controlled by wealthier countries of the West. So less fortunate countries are not able to are unable to import and distribute it efficiently among all people. So as we said, this does not solve the problem. Number 3, people can avoid death due to hunger by distributing food aid to poor countries, as well as the other answers that we mentioned in the previous slide, which are planting, benefiting from the lands that they have, solving the problem of overpopulation, and so on. Number 4, the author's purpose, as we said, is to inform because it gives information about the causes of famine and how to avoid it in some poor countries, because also the writer, as you can see, mentioned causes, effects, and he also mentioned some measures that the poor countries can take in order to prevent or to avoid famine. Thank you for watching. We still have one more question, I guess. Yes, the question of the true false. As you can see here, I corrected the statements. Most countries of the West suffer from scarcity. We said most countries of the East, which is mentioned in paragraph 2. Tundra areas are not good for farming, which is mentioned in paragraph 3, and this is true. The last one, war caused food shortage in sub-Saharan Africa. This is false because the natural disasters such as floods and droughts caused food shortage. So this statement is false. Thank you for watching. We'll meet during the Zoom live session. Goodbye.